Hey YouTube, Kier Twig here, bringing you guys an update to my Lyrilusc deck profile for March 2018. Shout out goes to my girlfriend Marissa for helping put this deck together for me. She was actually the one rebuilding the deck and asked if I wanted to do a deck profile. She used my old deck profile, which has actually been a year since I did that, as the basis for this one, but pretty much with the improvements from all the new support we got, that could really help out the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Lyrilusc monsters, I think there's still only 3 effect monsters out in the TCG. I don't even know if there's any other ones in the OCG, but 3 Cobalt Sparrow. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 level 1 Wing Beast type monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Cobalt Sparrow once per turn. And a Win Exceed monster that was summoned using this card on the field as an Exceed monster gets the effect. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. So basically, with the different options that the Lyrilusc monsters give you for Exceed summoning effects, this one is the protection effect, but the search effect also helps just to keep that hand consistency, since a lot of your plays are going to go towards those Exceed summons for your Lyrilusc Exceed monsters. And also 3 Sapphire Swallow. So with this one, if you control a Wing Beast type monster, you can special summon both this card and 1 level 1 Wing Beast type monster from your hand. You can only use the effect of Sapphire Swallow once per turn. And a Win Exceed using this one gains the effect. If it is Exceed summon, you can target 1 Lyrilusc monster in your graveyard and attach it as Exceed material. So for a lot of the late game plays, which with your most important Lyrilusc monster, which is basically Nightingale for all your different plays, that attachment effect comes in very handy because Nightingale requires having a lot of Exceed materials on it to benefit from her abilities. And I also run 3 Turquoise Wobbler, the last of the Lyrilusc monsters. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can special summon 1 Lyrilusc monster from your hand or graveyard. You can only use the effect of Turquoise once per turn. So Turquoise doesn't share the same ability attach effect, but it does help for that easy monster field swarm, basically. So a definite 3 must-have as well for all of them. They just work so well together to set up the main basis of the deck. And then for the non-Lyrilusc monsters, I run 2 Raid Raptor Blastrix. Now this one is cool because, 1, it works with the easy special summon and the fact that you contribute it out for your Raid Raptor Xyz to give you sort of a Raid Raptor boost in the deck. So you have that option for Exceed summoning with the deck, 2 different variants, which I think is very nice. And you also play with the level 1 aspect, since he is a level 1 Wing Beast. And I also run 3 Painlanius. Works very well with the Lastrix. It cannot be used as an Exceed material for an Exceed summon, except for the Exceed summon of a Wing Beast type monster. So you're not really limited there too much with this card in this deck. And if this card is in your hand, you can target 1 Raid Raptor monster you control that has a level, take damage equal to its attack or defense, whichever is the lowest of your choice. And if you do special summon this card, and that level becomes the current target. So with Lastrix, it'll still basically be level 1, meaning you have that easy special summon for the field, and you only take 100 points of damage for that special summon. So definitely worth it in my opinion in the long run. If you want to bump down the number of Painlanius to 2 and go 2 of each, you can bump up Battle Fader to 3, mostly because it's just that hand trap. It doesn't really work too well with any of your Wing Beast plays with your other monsters, but just that option to hang on to if you want some easy hand protection from big attacks if your opponent managed to get over your monsters. And also 1 Sonic Chick. Now I play 1 Sonic Chick because it is pretty good for the can't be destroyed by battle play, but only 1 because we have a special secret awesome tech that kind of cool that we got, probably the best deck to use that tech in, which we'll get to later in the deck profile. That means you only have to play 1, but we'll talk about that a little more later on. And 1 DD Crow, just very good to run in the deck. For 1, it's searchable, especially with Recital Starling, so you definitely have to just play it for that option to search it out and then use it if need be. It's not like you overdraw it, because if you do play it right, you should be able to add it every time to your hand. And that is it for the monsters. We'll move on to spells. I run 3 Swallow's Nest. With this card, you tribute 1 face-up Winged Beast-type monster. Special summon 1 Winged Beast-type monster is a mouthful from your deck with the same level as the tributed monster that was on the field. So the swap-out option for this one, basically if you have Lyrilusc monsters on the field and you have a non-Lyrilusc monster, tribute the one to go for the other. Or if you have Raid Raptor on the field and something else in your hand, basically, tribute and just go for what basically works better for that play at the moment. Like I said, if you have the Pain Lanius in your hand, it's obviously going to be better if you put the Lastrix on the field, and vice versa with the Lyrilusc monsters. So very, very good just for searching out what you need. Same for the 1-for-1 easy special summon. The whole deck is level 1 monsters, so grab whatever you need with this. And also 2 overlay regions. This is just a small tech that I really like with the deck. For your Exceed plays, sometimes you might be short of that 1 Exceed material, and this card just comes in handy so much with those options to help out for the deck. And the same with Instant Fusion. Plenty of level 1 targets in the deck for a Fusion summon. Easily 1,000 life points get you that extra monster on the field that you can use, plus those additional monsters can have effects that benefit all on their own together as well that we run. And lastly, just the 1 polymerization. If you want to end up going for the Nightingale the legitimate way, you have that option open. I thought about running, I think it's the Parasite card, the one that basically acts as the polymerization with this deck instead. If you have the card, you want to try that out instead. It works pretty well with that fusion option. You're just open to choice of what you want for the deck in this card. And then also 1 Monster Reborn, back at 1, too good not to run in the deck. And for the Raid Raptor plays, basically with the Exceed rank up, I run 2 Astral Force for the rank up. If you want to make the Skip Force, since all we're basically ranking up are Raid Raptors, you can do that as well. But I like it for the graveyard draw option. It comes in handy, but the Skip Force also has its moments because you have the special summon option from the graveyard with that. But once again, player preference completely. And the 1 Soul Shave Force for the graveyard summon. If they end up destroying your one, you got up with the rank up, and then you just bring it back. You have another rank up option available with the Shave Force. And lastly, 1 Book of Moon. If you want to make this is like the last open option. Sometimes just with some of those face down monsters, it makes it more worth it for a couple of your other plays. But this could also be a Dark Hole or Regeki, depending on what the player may want. And moving on to traps, 3 Icarus attack, pretty standard here. Getting rid of one of your weak Winged Beast monsters in exchange for destroying 2 cards on the field. Definitely worth it, especially if you hit like a face down and a field spell your opponents. Done that a lot with a lot of different test plays with this deck, and it really messes up a lot of their plays, since you can recover pretty easily with this deck. And the spicy tech that I talked about earlier, 3 Scramble Eggs. This probably the only time, unless I do a Yusei deck profile, that I will be using this card in a deck profile. But my girlfriend basically showed it to me and said, you know, it's from hand, deck, or graveyard, which makes sense as to why you only run the 1 Sonic Chick, since you can basically grab it for everywhere. So you have that option for special summon each and every time with this card. You really shouldn't have any problems unless your opponent knows to banish the Sonic Chick. But even then, very rare that'll happen. So even if you open up with it, you have this option, especially when your opponent's attacking with big monsters. If you bring out that Sonic Chick and they have something over 1900 attack, that pretty much stops them there unless they can destroy it during the battle phase. And also, to finish up, Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. Activate only when you take battle damage from your opponent's monster's direct attack. Reveal 1 level 1 in your hand. Special summon it from your hand. And 1 monster with the same name from the deck. So easy swarm again with the Lyriluscs. Only could find 1 Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. Would definitely run a second one and take out the compulsory evacuation device, just because it really does help with a lot of different plays. In this deck especially. I think the only other deck I run Wolf in Sheep's Clothing is in Karibos, just for that level 1 love that we're spreading. But that is it for the main deck. We'll move on to the extra. I run 2 Lyrilusc, Assembled Nightingale. This card used to be at 3, but bumped it down to 2 just because you really should only have to go into this card twice in a game. And with Recital Starling being a thing now, you just have different options. And with this one, it gains 200 attack for each Exceed material attached to it. And this card can attack directly. While this card has Exceed material, it can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of Exceeds attached to this Exceed material attached to it. And once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach one exceed material from this card until the end of this turn. Lyrilusc monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and also you take no battle damage. So a big protection card, but like I said, very important that she has a good number of cards attached to her, because this could be your make or break kill card in the deck, especially if you overlaid enough to make her. And also 2 Recital Starling. With this one, same premise, 2 or more level 1 monsters. If it succeeds summon, you can target one face-up monster on the field, gains 300 attack and defense for each material attached to this card. And once per turn, you can detach one exceed material from this card to add 1 level 1 Wing Beast monster from your deck to your hand. And all battle damage you take from battles involving this exceed summon monster is also inflicted to your opponent. So that big one at the end is very important for this card. It's also the DD search, the DD Crow search target that I talked about before, but that damage could really hurt them after they've been through a Nightingale onslaught as well, if you end up going into this. But also for the generics, I run the 54 Lionheart, Slacker Magician, Dullahan, Princess Sprite. I only have 31 at the moment. I would run, actually this is 13, I would run 31 if I had one, but sadly couldn't find it. But I would probably take out the Slacker Magician just to have that 2 combo in the deck if possible. Also for the Raid Raptors, 1 Revolution, 1 Satellite, and 1 Ultimate Falcon. Just the most powerful ones to rank up into. You can even take out the Revolution if you want to put Colossal in, just to have some more bigger plays. But that's really player preference in total, depending on what you'd prefer to go into first, because you'll obviously be using the Lastrix to go into the first one in the chain, and then it'll go up from there. So if you prefer just to go straight into the Ultimate Falcon, which is a very good play altogether anyway, and start off with that. Satellite Falcon just comes in handy when it comes to back row, which is why I do like to keep him there as the middle option. And then for the fusions, the Nightingale, obviously there for the Lyrilusc plays, but it's also an instant fusion target and a potential exceeds after you use the burn effect. And also 1 Millenniumized Strick and 1 Thousanizer Strick. The monster take effects with these cards is too good in this deck. Definitely comes in handy. And then additional exceed material before they be destroyed. So all in all, a very fun deck, and I hope you all enjoyed the deck profile. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.